Welcome, everybody, to the front 9 holes of round number 3 of the 2021 Down East Players Cup presented by Eastern Disc Golf and Disc Box. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here by Holly Finley for the final round. What's up, Holly?
Hello, hello. Thanks so much for tuning in. What a fun weekend this has been so far.
Yeah, we moved back to West Meadowbrook Park. Absolutely beautiful disc golf track here in Greenville, North Carolina. I'm interested to see what happens going into this final round. We have quite the battle looming right now.
Yeah, me and Natalie are tied at 4 over. Deann is not that far behind, just 4 strokes away, and then Elaine King in 4th place.
What do you think about this track overall, and what kind of strategies do you have to kind of employ here?
It's super fun. However, we're playing the exact same layout as the pro men, so distance is key here. Also, the approach shots are really important. You really need to hit the gaps off the tee and try to get as much distance as you can. Here we are at hole 1, 319 feet. This is a tight hole to start off. You can throw a straight shot and get a putt at it, but really you want something with a baby hyzer finish at the end. Hopefully getting you in the circle, maybe get a bird to start your round off.
And yours truly is teeing off first. Oh, little turn, almost got the flip you were looking for.
Natalie Ryan on the box second. Playing on the Prodigy Street team. That's looking good.
Yeah, looking really good. That's going to be a park job for a birdie. And Deann has been hitting some fantastic putts, throwing some great lines. I think she has a shot at making a climb up to the lead as well. Just got to start off with a bang here.
Yeah, Deann always plays well in a variety of courses. However, she did have a thumb injury this weekend. She told me she was making some taters and accidentally sliced off the tip of her thumb. So here's Elaine King. Oh, and unfortunately, she does hit that skinny tree.
She knew it.
And that needed a little more torque and a little later release point to get that full flex shot. So here she is throwing 3 into the green. Get up there.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Back on track, back in business.
Simple backhand approach. You had mentioned this course is long and approach shots are extremely crucial, especially some of those really elementary up shots. You have to spend a lot of time focusing because if you mess one of those up, someone's going to overtake you.
And Deann's been having some really good putting the last couple of weeks. Natalie for birdie on hole 1. And what a way to start off the round.
Not too bad.
So now she is 1 in front of me, and I am thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, hoping to carry on your momentum from round number 2, shooting a fantastic round to tie for the lead.
Yeah, I had some great success over at the Farmville course. Ooh, little shorty slamming it in. I'd like to putt softer, but when I try, it doesn't go in the basket.
Got to stick with what's comfortable for you.
Off-season things to work on.
All right, hole number 2, 435. Left gap, right gap. Most players taking the right gap. It's got to be some sort of shot that flips up, rides as straight as possible. OB parking lot or concrete on the left side. OB parking lot on the right side. What are you thinking here? Are you playing this one for the birdie for a long look, or are you throwing the pitch hyzer? I saw players going for both.
Day 1, I tried to do the maximum distance flex and maybe get, a longer putt at it. That didn't work out. So day 3, I'm using wisdom I've acquired over the years. I'm going to take the the shorter hyzer approach through the gap and just play it for a 3. And let's be honest, how many putts are we really making at 90 feet?
Not many.
Yeah, so trying to use that wisdom strategy more here lately.
Yeah, Deann doing the same thing, just throwing a nice easy shot out to the left side. And Elaine having some early issues off the tee. Still early in the round. She's got a standstill from still about, I would say, 380.
Puts a good move on it, though. And that needs to hyzer. And that'll be a putt for bogey for Elaine King.
You know, it's almost eerie with the excitement that the Disc Golf Pro Tour brought this year and the amount of fans we had. It's eerie, but also kind of pleasant to have a nice quiet day of disc golf for once.
Right, right. We did have a couple of fans lingering on the outskirts. You know, it's kind of hard to spectate on this type of course where the tee box is sort of crowded in the woods. But I agree, it had sort of a eerie feeling. Not a scary silence, but a lot different than it has been the last couple of weeks. And this will be Natalie for a birdie attempt.
Wow, nice and flat out of the hand. Drops it next to the basket for a 3.
Elaine King with a very long putt for her bogey save. Yes, and that's what you expect to see from a world champion.
I found out from Elaine herself that she has played in over 560 PDGA events.
Wow.
That is an elite club. That is a true warrior of the sport as you tap in your par. I still can't believe that. I think I've played, you know, I traveled the country professionally for 4 years, and I think I've played maybe 200.
Wow.
It's wild.
Goals.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. One day. All right, we're going to move into hole number 3. What are your thoughts on this one as a backhand dominant player?
I like to use my flippy mid-range, which is an Innova Mako before the 3, and I sort of just aim left at the background trees and let the disc do the work and see if it curls around the corner. My forehand distance maxes out at about 260, so it's a little risky for me to try to push that. I might end up in the corner, and that seems dumb, so better just safe than trying to get that greedy too, from my point of view.
Yeah, there's definitely a strategy to just playing the shot to, 30 feet left of the basket rather than trying to park it. Just give yourself a shot at the birdie.
Deann throwing a Mako as well, sneaking it around the corner.
So the original Mako is out of production, is that correct?
It is. I tried to get it for my tour series, but they are not making it anymore.
Interesting.
So I had to go for the 3. I tried.
Fantastic disc. And Elaine just playing the easy 3.
Hitting the tower.
Stress-free.
I do love Elaine King's upshots. She's so accurate with them. You can almost guarantee they're going to be within 15 feet. Deann Carey for the birdie.
Oh, just low.
My face looks like I'm really scared or something, but it's extremely bright outside. And I found my sunglasses mess up my depth perception, so that was timid. I did not give that full commitment. Natalie for bird.
Wow, she grabs
she
another one.
launches it up there, yeah.
And so I've commentated with 3 different players this week. Nathan Queen for the MPO, Elaine King for FPO, and then you today. Both of them had a different thing to say about the wind on this course. What were your thoughts here?
I expected worse.
Okay.
To be honest, I was pleasantly surprised with what nature gave us. I normally don't enjoy windy rounds. I've been working on that this season, choosing wiser shots in the wind.
Discover Greenville, North Carolina, where we put whole hog Q on the map and inspiration lives on every corner. Unplug for a moment of tranquility or enjoy one of our parks, fields, greenways, or trails. Then recharge with fresh, local flavors, one-of-a-kind art galleries, and toe-tapping music. North Carolina's Emerald City is filled with countless hidden gems. Find yours in Greenville, North Carolina.
All right, hole number 4, 405 feet, tight gap off the tee, maybe 15 feet wide, back out into the field, and then we creep back into the trees with a protected basket. What are your thoughts on this one?
It's a mash, it's hard for us to get there and get a legit putt like inside the circle. So, basically you want to just get through the gap number 1 and try not to fade too far left or right, and that way you can have an approach into the green. Natalie, being able to throw about 350, can get significantly more distance than the rest of the cards, so she gets up there.
Yeah, gets caught up in those guardian trees. It's going to have a really long look. Let's see if you can give yourself a shot here. Out the gap with conviction, just overturned. I noticed the first round, the same mistake was made by a few players. Not sure if there's wind swirling out there.
It is very windy. In my bag, I'm stuck between a disc that hyzers too much and then ones that turn over too much. I don't have a good one in the middle right now for this hole. But yeah, I figured just land somewhere in the field and then have a clean approach into the green. Sometimes it's, you try to get greedy and get that 30, 50 extra feet, and you don't really need it. It's not like you're going to get a legitimate putt from 30 extra feet anyways.
Exactly. And another great up shot from you. Should be a tap-in 3 from there.
I found myself bringing back the mid this week. Normally the courses we play on tour, as we see Elaine with another amazing upshot. I said earlier, you can just almost count her upshots are going to be within 15.
She sounds like she'd be fun to play catch with.
Right?
Or maybe boring to play catch with. Maybe boring to play catch with.
You never have to move. But yeah, a lot of the courses we play on tour, we throw a drive, we make a putt, or we use our putter for an upshot. And the mid has really been eliminated as far as using it as a mid. I find that you're using the mid off the tee and not as an actual upshot disc anymore. So it was fun using the mid as an upshot disc this week.
That is a good point. You don't really see that too often. They've been really, especially on the Pro Tour, they've been really pushing the players to throw distance driver and try to control it like a mid-range. So we'll see if the variety begins to creep back in the years to come.
Deann makes a good putt, as does Natalie for her par.
No problem for you as well. Nice steady start.
Yeah, a lot of pars, nothing wrong with that. And the TD of this event said that at this course, shooting par should be somewhere around 1,000 rated. So I thought, you know what, that's a decent goal to have. Here we are, hole 5. There is a Mando, that red arrow you saw on the left. Get you a nice shot as max distance if you can. A little flare skip at the end wouldn't hurt either. Maybe you can sneak up there into circle 2, circle 1, and get yourself a putt. Coming in at 400 feet. This is pushing it for our division this weekend. Natalie puts a move on one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, long look for birdie.
She tells it to get there, and Elaine says, "Oh, honey, you weren't even close." And we all had a good laugh. I couldn't catch my breath.
Can't help but dream.
Elaine's sense of humor really cracks me up.
Sounds like a very chemist thing to say, very blunt.
And that's one thing I do enjoy about this course. They give you the gaps to hit off the tee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a gap with shape. You can't necessarily throw it pure hyzer. You can't throw it too straight. This is a nice looking line with that wraith from Deann. A lot of long looks up to the basket.
Mm-hmm. And Elaine was telling us that this blue disc is the one. So if we ever see her doing something wrong, we should tell her, you probably should have thrown the blue disc.
It's nice of her to trust you with her equipment with her equipment selection.
And just like before, there she is within 5 feet. She is so good at those approach shots.
You see Michael Johansson in the background enjoying himself with a nice Coca-Cola.
Yeah, coming out to spectate the first couple of holes of the women's lead card. Always appreciate the support from the MPO division. And I lofted up there, you know, maybe it goes in, maybe it doesn't.
I mean, with the way you were putting at Farmville, you never know at this point.
You never know what's going to happen. And Natalie for a birdie attempt. Kind of the same thing.
Now, I noticed there was a short pad up in front of the MPO tee pad. Theoretically, if you had to choose, would you put the FPO at that short pad or keep it at the long?
I think I would like a mix on this course. You know, maybe 5 to 7 shorties and the rest the longer pads. That looked like it kind of got hung on Deann's finger. She normally doesn't go over the top of the basket like that. But as I mentioned, she tried to cut off the tip of her thumb, so she's had that thing bandaged up for a week. And it is on her throwing hand, so that can be a little awkward because the tape is basically covering her entire thumb.
Yeah, and you know, with popping the disc like she does, you never know if you put too much pressure on your thumb, back of your head, you're thinking about it. I've definitely had that happen to me before.
As we all tap in for some pars on hole 5. And moving over to hole 6, I have seen a cat by the tee pad, and maybe we'll get a glimpse of it.
Welcome to the shop.
Hole number 6, 414, flying over the OB right now. Long hole. This is like, again, one of those par 3.5s where you stretch out your distance and then you're left with less than 100 feet to the basket. It's a tough hole to get a 2 on.
It is. It is.
No cat yet. Haven't seen the kitty.
It is a black cat, so it's its moment. You know, it's time. It's Halloween time. It's ready to make its appearance. And Natalie puts a full smush on that, sending it down there. She'll have about a circle 2 look at it. Seeing that road does play OB, you want to make sure you don't push the ceiling on this and hit those leaves and get knocked down.
And that's about as good as it gets. You can just throw either a long putt or lay up under the basket for another 3. Like you said, even par out here is totally fine. There really seems to be only a few holes under 300 feet on this track.
Yeah, it's a long one. Oh, I like the shot shape of this from Deann.
Oh, wow. Long flex shot. Beautiful.
Yeah, she gets down there. Even though Elaine had that straight approach, she did take that outside hyzer, but unfortunately caught a tree.
Uh-oh, long look. It's framed up for you.
You know it. Might as well give it a go.
Oh, my. Oh, just in front of the basket. 6 inches.
I mean, with Natalie sitting basically circle 1.5, I wanted to give it, you know, a legitimate bid.
As did Deann.
Yes. You can hear me yelling at it in the background.
All right, Natalie from about 40 feet for another birdie. Just off the front tray. Would have been a pretty fantastic start, 3 down through 6.
I'm telling you.
And you're playing about as solid as you want to play, just missing a couple long putts.
Yeah, and here's Elaine King to save her par.
What a putt!
Yes!
That's got to feel good.
I love it when you have to do those yoga poses and the putt goes in.
Yeah. All those early mornings in the yoga studio paying off.
You know it.
And another par. And we are moving into some of the harder holes on the course, 7 and 8. This is where it gets a little bit tricky.
Yeah, it gets hairy after hole 6, that's for sure. All right, hole 7. This is a tricky one. All those wooden posts on the right are out of bounds. It goes all the way down the fairway, and then when you pass the fence on the left, that's marked out of bounds as well. So you really have to keep it on this little grass fairway strip. When you get up near the basket, if you hyzer too far left outside of the circle, that's also out of bounds. So this is some very controlled placement shots. Natalie flexing one, and she gets way around the corner, which I haven't seen yet.
That is in a very good position, and I think she has enough space to throw out another hyzer to the basket.
And because there is no wind on this hole today, I decide to throw one of my flippier discs and land in a really nice position.
And Elaine throwing another fantastic shot. Oh, just rolls behind that fence. I say fantastic too soon. She's going to be pinched off.
Oh, that was helpful.
Very helpful. Wow. It's going to be nice. She can either throw the hyzer over the road if she'd like, or just straight at the basket. Oh, sit down.
Oh, and it was so bright out, Elaine couldn't tell if her disc was in or out, and I kept convincing her, it's definitely in, Elaine. I have seen it.
And you're just bashing a hyzer over the OB. No problem. Yeah, this is one of those holes, too, where you want to get close on the second shot because of the fact that there's OB behind the basket, there's OB left of the basket, there's pine straw, making it easier to skip. And that's a great-looking line from Deann.
Yeah, she puts a full send on that one and makes it really far up there. Natalie's second shot going into the green, and she lands safely. She'll have a putt at it for a birdie 3. So Elaine's flex sidearm got way up there.
Yeah, she has an opportunity to get up and down for a par if she gets a nice flare on this.
And
yeah.
once again, she shows us how great she is at those approach shots. I just want to steal that part of her game.
Well, let's see if you do it here. Yeah.
Looks decent.
I think not too bad.
And Deann's pushed her up so far, to the green that she actually has a jumper at it.
Oh.
That was a legitimate bid.
Right angle, just not enough height to get in, and this is for a birdie for Natalie.
Oh.
That front tray is just her
again.
worst enemy today.
Yeah, it's a lot of what ifs.
It's a great par from Elaine. And that's the thing about, it seems like playing against Elaine, you can definitely bet on her doing a lot of the simple things correctly.
Yes.
So you can't really ever count her out.
No.
Yeah, 300 plus wins, 560 plus PDGA events. That's some serious experience. Oh my goodness. That's a stinger.
It is. That really hurts your feelers because it was a good putt, but I do putt really hard. It is what it is.
Hello Leopard 3 is stable. It want to go straight all day long. That's why I love it. It feels good in my hand. It's just very comfortable to grip. Just throw, it's gonna fly straight for you. And I love their plastic. It is beautiful. Look at this color. When you have a pretty disc like this, you just want a birdie, right?
Hole number 8, technical par 4, 578, super tight gap. If you hit early, it is tough to save your par. If you get out of the gap, you have to throw it 3 to 350, and then you're going back into the woods, low ceiling gap shot, basket on a nice, flat, sandy surface. This is a tough hole. And wow.
That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah, that's one of the best shots I've seen, and I've commentated all the pro divisions this weekend.
That is looking tasty from Elaine.
Yeah, she wants to give herself the short pad.
I love it. And that's not bad either. She's basically, gone through the majority of the difficult stuff at this point.
And am I seeing Pro Destroyer from you?
It is nice and grippy, but I did not flatten it out enough. I don't need to throw it with hyzer. It hyzers on its own.
It's a very underrepresented plastic of the Destroyer.
It is. I like it because it doesn't have a lot of ground flare skip. That Pro plastic really grips on the grass, even the pine needles. So I'm just trying to punch something, through a hole and get out there, basically. Not much to work with at that point. Deann sneaking her Valkyrie up. And that's in an okay position for getting up and down.
Oh, little overturned it. Little bit. And we'll see how messy it is back there. You have a shot to get up and down and save that par. Oh, and it just needs to turn a bit more.
It was headwindy, so I thought I'll let this go with a little bit of hyzer angle, but it was a little too much hyzer angle. So Natalie now, this will be her approach into the green, her second shot. Oh, no. Oh, that was beneficial.
Extremely beneficial. She's going to have a putt for birdie from there. Sometimes you just need a little tree love.
And Elaine just a bit off on the angles for her Annies at this point. You got to aim more left so you hit the gap, not throw at the gap. Pro tip. Elaine knows that already, though.
Pro tip not for Elaine.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, long look for the par. Oh my gosh. So close.
Hoping for a floaty throw in.
Yeah, that would be a nice momentum boost going into the 9th hole.
And Elaine just doesn't have much to work with here. It just hits a couple of twigs and vines and doesn't really go anywhere. And you said it before we got here. You know, we're coming up on some of the more difficult holes on the course, and this is absolutely one of those. Natalie putting for bird.
Oh,
Wow.
and there it goes, right over the front.
Run it back.
Yeah, give us that run back. She'd been missing front cage on a couple of those long ones and finally made the adjustment. Great trajectory, great putt. Deann snags the par, and this will be an unfortunate bogey.
So Natalie gets 2 on me on this hole and also 1 from the previous hole. So things are, you know, stretching out a bit here between Natalie and I.
Yeah, it's starting to turn into, at this point, kind of a race for second. Moving into hole number 9. New placement here.
Yeah, this hole is bizarre. I haven't quite mastered it yet. I've decided just to play it for a 3 and not try to get greedy for the 2. There's a lot of different ways you can play this hole. I feel like the wiser approach is to play it short, low, and middle on the left side, and then have a longer approach rather than trying to get greedy and get all the way up for a 2.
Yeah, it seems like one of those holes you need little hyzer flip and then very, very, very last second it gets a tiny late flip. Very precise shot. And like you said, just throwing straight sometimes is a better option.
And even when you trickle just a little bit off the fairway, that can be such an awkward approach because these, the rough is rough here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of rose bushes and thorns.
And I am just fed up with this hole. I release a giant growl.
Yeah, it's and that tree on that left side really changes the hole quite a bit. You're going forehand, gonna chop one on some anhyzer.
It's a little low, but it lands in the fairway, so that's decent enough. But at this point, I know I'm going to have yet another bogey. And this is not looking good to keep up with Natalie. And look at this, Elaine King doing yet another incredible approach shot. Save some for the rest of us, Elaine.
So Natalie snuck through at decent ways. That's another really fortunate break. Missing early. But she still has to execute this shot.
Super chop hyzer. Bit of extra power on it, but, you know, it's still a putt. That'll be a tester par save. That could have been better, but, you know, it's up there.
Oh, and
as I mentioned earlier, Deann wasn't that far off the fairway, but it's still just so thick in the rough that she didn't quite make it out. So now a long putt to save par. Yes!
that was solid.
She has been putting so well the last couple of weeks. It's incredibly fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, she won Carolina Clash. She had a great showing at the Pro Tour Championship.
She made more putts than me at the Clash. And Natalie to save her par. Wow.
Great putt.
Another long one.
And she is feeling good going into the back 9.
Yeah, she's getting it done. A bogey putt for me. Phew, glad I hit the basket on that one.
Yeah, for real. No spit outs on that one either.
Elaine King for her par putt. Nice.
And that's going to be a par, and we will move into the back 9. Natalie Ryan is starting to pull away from the card. There you have it for the front 9. -3 on the front. And we move into the back. We will see what happens here. It's starting to look like a race to the finish for second place. But again, we will catch you for the back 9 holes. Anything can still happen out here. Make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media on YouTube, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Holly Finley.
I'm Brian Earhart. Catch you out there.